Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yeah. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is episode 156 of This is the G Podcast. Yes. We are back. Took a little holiday sports break, and now the crew is back. I'm your host, Tommy B. Co-host Tanya B and Vi here. We'll get to them in just a minute, but it's another week in paradise, y'all. Got to say what's up to the Georgia voters. Just came out big time, early numbers. And Hakeem Jeffries, shout out to Hakeem Jeffries, the new House leader. Got to give him some. Yes. Got to give the Georgia Bulldogs some. They won the SEC championship, and they are number one in the country, y'all.
Yeah.
And the Falcons.
Unlike the Falcons. Unlike the Falcons.
We're going to get to them in just a minute.
But they are number one. They are number one TikTok.
Okay. All right. Whatever you say.
At the best, at the top choke team in the world.
Yes. Give it to them for that. Oh Lord. We gotta talk about that though as soon as, but in the T, Tanya B's got the T, GMA. We're gonna talk about the GMA Hour 3 saga with TJ Holmes. You got some stuff on Gladys Knight, Escape, a lot of good stuff. And we'll get to that when we get to the T after the news. But each week we do news, politics, pop culture, that piping hot tea with the one and only Tanya B is in the building. And we haven't done it in a while, so let's do it.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen.
What's cooking, Tanya B?
Tanya B, what is cooking? What's really going on?
What's really going on is I'm beginning to prepare my Warnock victory dinner for Tuesday night because I name it and I claim it right now. Hallelujah! Yes, I think Reverend Warnock has been laid on the altar of every Black Baptist church from North Georgia or probably down to Florida over the state line. But anyway, what I'm cooking is, on New Year's Eve, a lot of people have greens for prosperity. And actually, the first time I ever had lunch with Tommy B, I had a collard green spring roll at a place that's no longer open, Gladys Knight Chicken and Waffles. Anyway, so I've been looking for recipes, and I'm actually going to make some collard green and smoked turkey wontons.
That's hot.
Okay, as the appetizer. And then our entree is going to be, you have a choice of either whiting or catfish. I'm going to stuff in between two fillets. It's going to be a mixture of a little bit of cream cheese, a little bit of shredded mozzarella, some crab, some shrimp, and spinach. And I am going to put it in an egg wash and then roll it in a cornmeal flour. And I'm going to deep flash fry.
Wow.
Fish stuffed with crab, shrimp, and again, another green vegetable for prosperity, which is spinach. And that's going to be my Reverend Warnock victory dinner for Tuesday. But I'm starting on it tonight, y'all. The greens are already done. Hallelujah.
That is like, I'm getting hungry now just thinking about it. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's called I think it's called food porn is what I was told stuff like this was called. And I will send you all pictures like I sent you pictures of my Thanksgiving dinner.
Wow. So this is all for Tuesday night for the
so our election victory dinner.
I wrote some.
Let me just say Warnock better win. That's all I
got
to say.
We're not gonna say no. We claim it already. He has won. Because I said the one time I agree with Bill Maher, who I don't even watch anymore, but what he said about Junior Walker, this past Friday night, that I got to give it to him and give him some dap on that, because for the first time in a long time, I actually agree with something Bill Maher said. And if you want to know what it is, go to YouTube. It's worth the watch. Trust me.
Yeah. So many people have said so many worthwhile things about, y'all don't call him Herschel, y'all call him Hershey, which I that's hilarious. I see people call him Hershey.
Hershey, yeah.
Hershey, like Hershey, like chocolate.
Like
Hershey
or
bar.
like she, like you know,
Hershey.
I think he has an issue with women. I think maybe, I don't know, something
No.
happened to him
You
where
think?
he just is yeah. He definitely maybe maybe he'll come out like Caitlyn Jenner and maybe be a woman one day. I don't know.
No, not that dude. I doubt it.
He would
Big
be
time.
very attractive. Too much
Yeah.
hair to remove, but anyway.
We appreciate you, Tanya B. We're gonna get back to you with the tea,
Yeah,
Tanya
so
B.
that's what's
gotta
cooking.
give it up
So
to you.
hey,
Yes.
tell you, all right, I know how I was gonna say I want the recipe.
Yeah. So, and how we turned it out? How we on the we called it the Sports Talk and Leftovers podcast bonus episode, and how we turned it out. Got to give it up to Howie. But big weekend, Vi's here. Big weekend in college football. Playoff teams are it's a done deal now. So the CPF, I guess college football playoffs, CFP, is now in full effect. You've got Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State. Did they get it right, Vi?
They got it right.
You
They
think
got it
so?
right.
Why do you think they got it right?
There was no one. The way the weekend went, there was no one else available.
Yeah, it's true. That's
Who
true.
could it be?
Because you know Nick Saban was making phone calls.
He lost 2 games. He lost 2 games. I'm sorry, Nick. You lost 2 games, Nick.
Yes. Yeah, so true.
You had
So
a
I got
one-one.
to give it up to him. They did get
If
it
he
right.
had a 1-1, he'd have got in. But 2, no, Nick, you out. Stop politics.
The other thing, man, I want to ask you about, Vi, because you know, as we tape every Sunday. We tape after the Falcons game. Why are you dancing, bro? That's okay. I'm just, you can dance.
He's
Like,
doing the prime time Deion Sanders dance because Deion got a new job.
yeah, give it up for Deion,
You
y'all.
don't have to tell the world.
Deion, oh, it's a done deal, dog. He's in Colorado today.
Yeah, he
now.
gone.
He gone.
That's hurt. That's hurtful right there. Very hurtful.
But you know what? He gave them 3 great years, turned the program around, and honestly, you know, he earned an opportunity, and you know, you can't.
Oh,
you
well,
can't
let me say this.
be mad at the brother for that. Go ahead.
What is that called? The CPAC or the CTAC, whatever that group is of those colleges that the Mississippi was in. Had they, you know, I don't know whether they see it as a business the way that the rest of the, I guess, the NCAA or whoever it is sees it. But, you know, if they want to compete and they want to keep people like the Deion Sanders of the world, they're going to have to step up and give them some perks, incentives, and pay him. You know, at the end of the day, dude deserves to get his bag. And I am not mad at him at all. He can stop doing those Doritos and Aflac commercials, maybe.
Well, the deal he's getting now is going to be $5 million. $5 million a year.
That's still small potatoes, but that's still small potatoes to Deion.
Yeah, I mean, but still. I mean, it's more than what he's making now by far.
Oh yeah, yeah. But like you said, he don't need the money. He's not doing it for the money.
Yeah, I got you. $5 million a year, bro. I just
hate it. I just feel sorry for the HBCUs.
That's some retirement money right there for Deion.
I don't think he was finished though. I just feel sorry for the HBC because he was doing so much, and then he was. My thing, if you knew you was going to lose, you shouldn't start some. Don't start some of the traditions they had going on.
Well, let me say, and I'm you know, because I got to ask you about the Falcons, so I want to move on from this, but I will say that what he gave the HBCUs, in my opinion, in terms of habits, good habits to form and grow their programs, is worth millions. Okay, so hopefully they'll take the blueprint that he's given them and they'll continue to grow. If they don't, it's on them. He was there for 3 years. It's not like he was there for a year, 6 months, like an Urban Myers or some of these other crappy coaches who go in for a year and leave. He was there for 3 years. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I want to ask you before we do news, Vi, because in-depth conversation, real conversation. All right, the Falcons, we know, you and I have had conversations that this is kind of a rebuild year.
Oh, definitely.
It is a year for really restructuring because, you know, if you're in Atlanta or you understand the NFL, the Falcons are under an intense salary cap coming off Matt Ryan. Okay, I'm glad they let Matt Ryan leave or got him out of here. I think that was the best thing to do. It was time.
Mhm.
But in doing that, the whole purpose of doing that was to determine the next steps in your program. Now, we have had the guy, Marcus Mariota, okay, who has been QB. He cannot throw. He's not accurate.
He's not.
It's, I mean, we are one of the highest in yardage in the NFL because we have to run the ball to progress the ball. You know what I'm saying? Because he cannot win with his arm. We know that. So with that said, we lost today. Okay,
that
we
ain't
lost
all on
to-
him though.
No, it's not. But I'll say this though: we lost today, and it really puts us statistically closer to being out of the playoffs. Okay, even though, and you know what? I think Tampa Bay is going to win. I'm not concerned either way. I don't think this team has the players, especially if they continue with Mariota, to really, even if they make it by, they're not going to get out of the first round. So with that being said, the fan base wants to move on to the next QB, the guy we drafted. Okay, Mariota, been in the league 7 years. Okay, he is more or less a quote unquote veteran quarterback who's had his shot. He is not going to be the future of anybody's program, anybody's team.
He has shown this year that he cannot be the future.
He cannot be the future. He had his chance. Like Eminem said, you only get what's you better lose yourself. That song was playing in his head and it scratched, done, blew his chance, done.
You only get one shot.
You only get one shot.
Yep. It's time to play the young man. Let's see what
yes, it is. It's time for Ritter. And I was on Twitter today, and you're watching a lot of people, the fan base is upset. And one of the things our coach, he's first-time coach, Arthur Smith, came from the Titans, Tennessee. And he needs to understand that the real teams who run the state of Georgia are the Braves and the Bulldogs. Okay. Those are the two teams that run this state. Those are the ones that have the biggest fan base. Those are the ones who have the most loyal fan base. If you ain't winning with the Falcons, they don't care about you. As a matter of fact, we were watching the game today. You saw more terrible towels than you saw Falcons fans. You saw more black and gold. And the reason being is he's pissing off the fan base. Dog, you know what I'm saying? These people want you to do the right thing. They just want you to move on. We've gone through this with Ryan. We know that Mariota is not the future of the franchise. The thing that we want you to do is find out who is. With you, Terry Fontenot, and the owner, Arthur Blank. Find out who. It ain't Mariota. Don't waste this valuable time. Don't wait till off season. Don't wait till preseason. The time to find out is now so you can figure out what to do in the off season. And he keeps, what do you call it, is the best holding off on the inevitable right now. He's postponing the inevitable.
Well, I think he's just saying until we out the playoffs, he got to keep trying.
We had the playoffs.
That's it.
I mean, because
mathematically, we're still in it.
Look, were they ever in it? Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me?
But
that is just how sorry our division is.
It's sorry. The NFC South is South.
We're on a half game.
South.
We're only a half game for being the division leader.
You got the NFC South with basically what do you call it? No team in the NFC South is over 500, even Brady. Okay. Right. So my point is he keeps pissing off the fan base. And what we saw today, especially this weekend with the Bulldogs coming in, that Saturday crowd had the Mercedes-Benz was rocking. They were packed up in there. They didn't come out Sunday. A lot of them could have said, you know what, let me hang over and check out the Falcons. Nah, they took their ass back to Athens. They're like, no, this is we're going to
Alabama, the airport. Bye.
We go.
All that pay for the Bulldog ticket. They ain't have no money for the Falcons.
They had no money for it. So the Bulldogs came in, basically wrecked shop, And only thing left was a bunch of tickets that the Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And people need to understand one more thing. People need to understand Atlanta is a transient city. Most of the people in the city are not from the city. Very few. As a matter of fact, within the last 5 years, I'm a native of Atlanta. Okay, and I've moved away and come back. But basically, the transients, the people who moved here, outnumber the people who were born here. That's just the way it is. So my point is, if you want to continue Arthur Smith to play that game with your fan base, you're going to look up and find you got no supporters. That's just the way it is. I know a lot of people will say, well, he the coach. You can't tell him, no, dog. Let me tell you something. They don't care about you. They will abandon you for Mariota in a heartbeat. You keep standing there beside Mariota, and you're going to look around, and you're going to be on an island by yourself.
You got to realize, we're paying Mario a lot of money, too, now.
Well, but not compare with a couple of million a year, bye. Come on.
No,
a couple of million.
He got about a 5% right now.
But you know what? They'll sit on that. If you consider the fact that they about to have $50+ million available in salary cap money next year, they can just
I understand
they can use him. They can use Mariota as a backup to coach the starter.
Just be patient, young man. I understand.
Ain't no patience. This is the year.
No.
This is what I'm saying, Vi, is this is the time to find out if Ritter
until we are mathematically out of the playoff. Ritter is not going to be the starter.
I think we are. I think we're out of it.
We're not.
I don't see it.
We're not
mathematically. Not mathematically, Vi.
That's right.
But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this. I'm not a fan of Tom Brady, but they're not going to beat Tom Brady. The Falcons have never beat Tom Brady. And we got we got one more game. I think we've got another game by the end. I'm gonna wrap it because we got to go to news, because I know you'll go all day on sports.
I gotta say one thing now.
Go all day. Go ahead, Tanya B.
Not only can they not beat Tom Brady, they can't beat Greg, Cindy, Jam, Bobby, or Peter Brady. So never mind Tom Brady. Okay.
Y'all are too rough on the Falcons.
No, dog. I'm just here to tell you, he can play the game and try to play big boy between now and the end of the year, and he's gonna wind up pissing off the fan base. I know a lot of folks are like, man, come on now, you're taking it too far.
Right now, he said we're losing. They ain't coming anyway. We're gonna play this year out.
Okay.
Draft and bring them back next year.
Okay. All right. I'm here to tell you the two teams in the state of Georgia that basically have the most loyal and the biggest and most consistent fan base are the Georgia Bulldogs and the Atlanta Braves. Those teams are they win. They're championship team. They have championships, and the Hawks get in where they can. So do the Falcons. Go ahead, Tanya.
The soccer team does better than the Falcons. I don't even know what their name is.
They won a championship. They won a championship.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a championship.
Booyah. Yeah. And they sell out every time they play at home. That's why dude kept the team and kept the field blank.
But I'm just saying, Vi, this season is kind of I'm not saying my term lightly would be a throwaway season. It's an opportunity season.
It is
not to try to win, because they've already exceeded expectations.
We have exceeded,
but you have to at least find out if the guy you drafted, Ritter, is worth it, or do you need to find somebody else? I'm not going to get into that conversation because that's a whole.
I'm just saying you got to think about the players who are playing. He got to coach for them too. He can't coach for the city.
Dude, I'm not saying the coach for the city. I'm just saying you need to find out if you've got a quarterback or not, or you're gonna have to go out and get one. That's as simple as that.
He's sitting in practice every day. He's gonna get a shot.
Hey, okay, all right.
He's gonna get his
all right, here we go. Let's do news. Let's do news with Syracuse Mike, man. I'm gonna come back on the other side. Here we go.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
The 19-year-old white man accused of killing 10 black people at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York, pleaded guilty Monday to a variety of charges. Those charges included 10 counts of first-degree murder.
We do not have a death penalty in New York State, so the life without parole is, in fact, the highest charge we have, and he got that automatically.
That's Erie County DA John Flynn. Peyton Gendron carried out the racist massacre on May 14th. 3 others were also wounded. The fallout continues following a recent dinner between former President Donald Trump and a white supremacist. Some Republicans, not all, have criticized Trump over his dinner last week, which included Kanye West, now known as Ye, and anti-Semite and white nationalist Nick Fuentes. Trump said in a post on his site, Truth Social, that he did not know who Fuentes was. Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer blasted the dinner, calling Trump disgusting. There are now questions about Senate candidate Herschel Walker's legal residence. A complaint filed with the GBI and the state attorney general raises the question and calls for an investigation into whether the Republican Senate candidate committed a felony by voting in Georgia while also claiming a homestead exemption as recently as this year for a home he owns in Texas. According to the complaint, to be eligible for a homestead exemption in Texas, a property must be owned and occupied as the owner's principal residence. So far, no comment from Walker. A federal appeals court has terminated the special master review of documents seized from Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property. That sets things up for the Justice Department to regain access to all of the materials seized for its use in the criminal investigation surrounding the former president. Trump can appeal to the Supreme Court, which has also ruled against him in multiple cases, even recently allowing Congress to get his tax records. Former President Barack Obama was in Atlanta for a Thursday rally, asking voters to go to the polls for Reverend Raphael Warnock one more time.
51 is better than 50 because it means Reverend Warnock will keep representing you in Washington.
Obama was fired up and also ready with jokes.
Mr. Walker has been talking about issues that are of great importance to the people of Georgia, like whether it's better to be a vampire or a werewolf. This is a debate that I must confess I once had myself when I was 7.
Elon Musk has blocked Kanye West's Twitter account for violating the platform's rules against incitement of violence. Ye, as he is known now, was blocked hours after stating, "I like Hitler."
Oh, Lord. We'll wait for that one. Let me go ahead. I got to give it up to give it up to Georgia, man. The residents of Georgia
It's not over.
But still, I got to, the records set in early voting. Let me give you some numbers. More than 1 million have voted already in early voting. Record number in the first few days, over 1.5 million Monday and Tuesday of this past week.
Yeah.
Higher Democratic turnout, which is good news, strong in the strongholds and, of course, in the black areas. A lot of voting to be left. Like you said, there's still a lot of voting this Tuesday, December 6th is the final day to vote. So it's a little difficult to gauge. But I do have to say this, and as of Friday morning is when I went out to vote. I'm done. I got my early voting out of the way. 1.473 million had already voted. That's as of Friday morning, and that's 37% of the basically the final number on the general election. And CNN has a poll out that basically says Warnock is up by 4%. And those are basically the exit polls. So it's polling basically positive for the Warnock campaign. And we're talking 1.8 million people have voted. That's 26.4% of active voters. Just some really good numbers. And let me just a couple of more numbers that I think are positive. One of the things I think that's really positive is the fact that 56% of the vote the voters are women. So you're talking about almost 60% are women, 44% are men. 40 to 44%, 55% white, 32% black. But keep in mind, blacks, don't make up a huge percentage of the state anyway, only really 14, under 20% of the state, but still 32% of the vote, which is significant. You had about 2% Latin and Asian. And overall, Democrats seem to be outpacing.
But you know what else, Tommy B?
Yeah, go ahead.
When it comes to voting, I think it was either 76,000, I believe is the number, of newly registered voters have actually gotten involved and registered and are actively voting that did not vote in the last election. So shout out to those people that took advantage of that small window of eligibility that actually registered to vote and actually cast their votes as well. So I think that's a great thing as well.
Absolutely. 76,000 people did not vote in the general election, voted in the runoff. That's a law. You can, even if you didn't vote in the general, you can still vote in the runoff. So that's encouraging. It's amazing because you and I talk about, the three of us talk on, we're on our little text chain, and we talk about the commercials that air. And I think it's just my opinion. The commercial that has the most impact is the one, the focus group, where the people have the headphones on and they're showing Herschel's comments and basically responding to the comments. Whoever did that needs $1 million.
Genius. I give it to him. Yes, give him a round of applause. Genius. Yeah.
Because you gotta, it's to me, it's the absurdity of watching. We all kind of get caught up in it, but nobody says it. It's kind of the elephant in the room. And they put it in 60 seconds, however long that commercial is. It's the absurdity of following a guy who has conversations about vampires and werewolves. You know what I mean? Who would even make that part of your campaign speech?
And it made no sense. It made no sense at all.
Well, let me say this. For me as a horror fan, I got what he was saying.
Oh, the Chinese air. Oh, please.
But did you understand his explaining it on Fox why he said he did it? Because he said Obama didn't tell the whole story. He was talking about faith.
Oh, come on, dude. Then he was talking about...
He can't spell faith.
Oh, okay, bye. What is okay?
Can he tell you what he said, man?
Vi. Hey, Vi. Isn't there somebody called Jesus?
Jesus would not answer. Jesus is not answering. He never condones stupidity.
Couldn't he not get on the main line?
Look, I can't say that because I'm still mad at Georgia, even though we get a great turnout. We're winning by 4%. What is going on?
I was like, who voted for this fool?
Vi, look at where we are, dog. Who was I having the conversation with about the Bulldogs? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, that Bulldogs loyalty runs deep. It runs. When you talk about Herschel's audience, 35, 40%, they're over 65. They're over 65. Those are the folks who are still caught up in the old days of run, Herschel, run you, Harry Dog, all that Larry Munson, those are the folks caught up.
My friend,
he can do no wrong.
My friend sent me a clip of Herschel when he was when he signed with Joe.
Yeah,
interviewed. He sounds so intelligent. Then you listen to him today. I'm going, dude, what happened to that guy 30 years ago?
He's off his meds.
Hey, no, he was talking about football. What I'm saying is football in his element. That's he didn't have to discuss issues.
You can't talk about that now.
He was not talking about football. That's just it. It was just my thing. I know what it was. He can't talk off the top of his head. He got to have a script.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then he doesn't stay on script either.
Well, let me say this.
He is so confident in it. So he thinking he said Trump kids get their smartness from him.
Oh Lord!
But didn't he also say he thought if the IRS were in schools, there wouldn't be any violence in schools if the IRS were in the schools?
No, then he got the cure. He got the cure for COVID.
He probably did.
Some dry blood spray. You spray that on, you won't get COVID neither.
Let me say this, y'all, and ultimately, what it comes down to, a lot of people wanted to point to all the allegations, and my point about this, and Vi, you said it. Anybody who's willing to put somebody in office who's already basically said, I know nothing about running or being a senator, that's first things first. He's already admitted he doesn't know how to do the job.
No.
The other thing is the fact that what's big for me, everything else, it's all big. But the other big thing for me are these allegations that are coming out about the homestead exemption. I lived in Texas, okay, and I had a home temporarily in Texas. Mm-hmm. I get it. You can only make one residence your primary residence when you have two homes. Okay,
in Texas is his primary.
That's right.
When I was in Texas, Herschel was in Texas. And I remember where Herschel lived. And I do know that he spent 20 years. I mean, when they called him back to run recently within the last year, when they called him back, I said, damn, Herschel coming back from Texas? Because I knew he was in Texas.
Right. No, they moved him here.
They moved him here for this.
But you know what's sad about the whole thing? He was the only one they could find. That doesn't speak.
No, they had other people.
What?
Trump picked Herschel. Trump usurped everybody.
Why they listen to his stupid?
But this is the guy. I mean, and my point, the thing is, and we'll get to it, toward the end of the podcast. But I do want to mention the fact that all of 45's candidates are crumbling. All the ones he picked, the handpicked, with the exception of a few.
They've crumbled.
Dr. Oz, the one who's running for governor out in what was it, Colorado? Which state?
That
Carrie.
Lady or the guy, whoever. Oh,
Lane.
Carrie Lake, the one that acting like she's not black.
Okay. Yeah. Imitation of life.
All
Right.
these unqualified people. Dr.
So my point is, with 45, with all these candidates, basically, who, let me say this for one time only, Mitch McConnell called it right and said to the GOP, you're going to lose based on the quality of the candidates. And it basically came true. So bottom line is, now, with all the lawsuits, with basically the House getting his taxes, 45's taxes are now in the hands of the House. That's one thing. The special master that was in place, which was basically supposed to regulate how the DOJ looked at the Mar-a-Lago documents, that's out of the way. Now he's on Truth Social, his social platform, telling people we're going to overturn the Constitution so that I can get back in office. And the reason Trump is doing all this, let me tell you, we've been saying it since day one. He's trying to save his own ass. He's truly right now. This is desperation on his part. So we'll see, we'll see whether or not the powers at B that are currently in power up until the first of the year do the right thing and go ahead and disqualify him from office. That's the thing that has to be done quickly. And I'll leave it at that.
The House better move with the quickness, because once the Republican take over, they gonna push them taxes back to the back.
Oh no.
Yeah. Because the Republicans control the House.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is if Warnock does win, it's 51. You got 51 senators.
Warnock wins.
Okay. When he wins. When he wins, basically, when he wins, Manchin and Sinema are minimized, because with it being 50-50, Manchin and Sinema could play those games, and now having the extra vote will help neutralize one or the other. So you don't have to deal with Manchin and Sinema playing games, which is another big reason why you want to see Warnock win. So, I hope they take advantage of it. I'll just say it like that. I just hope they take advantage of it. And by the way, the news is sponsored by Harold Michael Harvey, the collection. For the holidays, go to haroldmichaelharvey.com and give the gift of knowledge, y'all. And that's haroldmichaelharvey.com. Go there. Don't forget, definitely before the holidays, get in before shipping. You know how it is. Don't wait till the last minute.
Yes,
because y'all got to get that stuff shipped. I think
that's like the 14th or the 16th is the last day if you want to get it in time.
Yep. You got to make sure you do it. Make sure you do it. All right, y'all. Well, that's all I got to say about that. Just a lot going on. And Tanya B, I'm with you. I agree. I am in total agreement with you regarding Warnock. I think, without a doubt.
Hey, Mom, did you hear that? No.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and do this. Here we go.
You asked for that one.
I know it.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
Give it up, Tanya B. What you got?
Okay, first thing I got to say, and this is totally not in the script, not what we were planning for, but I got to say, shout out to the orange soda, Keke Palmer, Keenan and Kel on SNL last night, and she did confirm that she's expecting, and she was just glowing and beautiful. And here come the bus.
Go ahead, girl.
So if you saw the show, you know what I mean. Yeah. Here come the bus. Okay, I'm gonna need it for this mess.
Cool.
I say, much like the Michael Jackson song "Working Day and Night," that's doing, but he's worked himself into the hospital. He's got pneumonia, and so, no tea, no shade. Nobody wants to see 12, 13 kids with no daddy. Plus, he also suffers from lupus. So I honestly wish him well. Also wishing Al Roker well. He's still rehospitalized for those blood clots in his lungs and his legs. And if people don't know, he had been doing some flying and traveling, and that's how Heavy D passed away. When those lungs travel north, they can take you out of here. So we wish Al all the best. Yeah. And also one of the unsung early sports superstars, Brazilian soccer superstar Pele. Remember him back in the day? Yeah. Pele, won like 3 World Cups, and he ended his career actually with the New York Cosmos. He is in hospice now for colon cancer. I wonder why people, when they say that you're an end of life care, that's hospice. They make you comfortable. I don't know why people want to go and say, "Oh, he's fine. He's feeling great. Thank you for the energy." This man is 82 years old. I just wish him all the best, and let's just thank him for all that he did to lift up the game for people of color. And I don't think he ever really got his dap. So.
Yeah, so true. I mean, Pele really and truly equaled soccer back in the day. When you saw him, I mean, he definitely put soccer on the map. But not only that, I mean, he definitely gave young black kids hope in terms of getting involved in soccer too.
Exactly. And I just want to talk about Dumb Donkey of the Week, Antonio Brown. I don't know if you've heard, there was a warrant out for his arrest on Friday. There was a police standoff. He still is, I don't know why this woman keeps have 4 babies by him. He's still beating her behind, hit her in the head with a shoe. And I don't know if they've even if they found him yet, but he's on the run. Self-destruction, headed for self-destruction.
Can they check Tom Brady's closet? Maybe.
No.
No, they better go check Kanye's closet. He's supposed to be producing his rap album, Antonio Brown's rap album.
Tom Brady.
What'd you say, Vaughn?
After that last incident, Tom Brady told him, "You're not welcome anymore."
Oh yeah, he did the fake photoshopped of him, the nude with him and Gisele Bundchen. But anyway, it is what it is. And speaking of Dumb Donkey, Kim and Kanye are finally divorced, and he lied and said that Chris Paul smashed Kim K, but you're not married to her. What do you care? And I've come to find out that is not true. But what is true is that Tyler Perry said bye Netflix. He's got a 4-picture deal over at Amazon, but I'm still giving them the side eye because they've made millions off of that anti-Semitic documentary that Kyrie Irving got in trouble for. They're not taking it down because they're making money off of it. Okay. Also, an arrest has been made in the murder of rapper Takeoff from the Migos. There were 2 gentlemen that were arrested. Shout out to Police Department Chief Troy Finner in Houston. They did their job. And one of these guys was named Cameron Joshua. He was trying to get a fake passport and flee to Mexico. Didn't work. Okay, so let's talk about something uplifting. Let's talk about the Empress of Soul, Gladys Knight. Now, Gladys has had a whole lot that's gone on in her life, but right now I got to give it to her because she's going to be executive producing a docuseries on her life with her Empress of Soul Productions. It's going to talk about a lot of things happening in her life. She's been married 4 times, and she seems to be settled with the guy from the Home Depot. But also, she was married to snake oil salesman Les Brown. She was married to Aaliyah's uncle, Barry Hankerson. There were allegations of him taking her money and being physically violent toward her. Then it was her first husband, Jimmy Newman, who is the father of her son, Jimmy Newman, who was her manager. He died at the age of 36, about 20 some odd years ago, of heart failure. Gladys had remember the gambling addiction where she really almost went broke, and then her son was kidnapped. She had to pay $1 million. $1 million. Back then for Black artists to have access to that kind of liquid cash to pay the ransom, but Gladys came up with it. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm glad that she is actually participating in it. So the real story should be told. And I just say, give Gladys her dap. There's a reason why they call her the Empress of Soul.
Good stuff.
Okay, now, Will Smith has been on his redemption. I call it the Emancipation Redemption Tour. People, some people are kind of liking the movie, but I think the producer got shade because he showed up on the red carpet with the real photograph of the character that Will Smith portrays, and it was not a cute time. But Will Smith said that he is really going out of his way. Hopefully anybody who will interview him, he's talking to, including Trevor Noah. Check it out on YouTube. But he said that it's for all the people that really put in a lot of hard work and time on this movie, and it's not their fault, and they should not have to suffer for his decisions, which I agree with.
Good stuff.
So,
Good stuff.
Emancipation, it's in theaters now. It's going to hit Apple TV Plus this coming Friday. So we'll see what happens and see how those numbers go. And then I want to tell you about the scandal down at the GMA3 Studios. It could be a tabloid movie, the afternoon edition with the still married former BET host TJ Holmes. His estranged wife, Marley, is actually an attorney who last worked at Rock Nation. So she's far from, being dumb. And then we've got Amy Roebuck, whose husband, the actor Andrew Shue, nursed her back to health from cancer. Girl karma. But anyway, those two said they act like nothing happened. Amy did deactivate her social media. They're on TV, and they said they have no shame in their game. They're going to keep it going. Right now, the powers that be at ABC are not doing anything to them. I think they're hoping that it will increase the ratings. But if the ratings go south, it's going to be a different story. Now, let me tell you this. They had to come out and say something. Because the paparazzi pictures were out there. They were kissing, holding hands, canoodling. There's a picture of him grabbing what's left of her behind when they were at one of their Love Shack weekends. But Disney ABC can be a very conservative company as well. So again, it remains to be seen what's going to happen. But let's talk about which one of TJ Holmes' male friends broke the bro and hoe code, because come to find out, TJ been out there in them streets tootsie rolling back in 2019 when he and his wife first started having issues. He was sleeping with a producer at the show. So I just say, Amy Roebuck, the way you get them is the way you lose them. And so much, karma. That's all I can say. They better hope the ratings go up and stay up, but they're acting like nothing has happened. It's a lovely day in their neighborhood. No comment.
What else you got?
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah.
No,
last thing I want to tell you about.
I was going to wait till you finish, but go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. No, it's okay. Last night there was, in addition to the SEC championship, there were 14 other events that went on in Atlanta, and one of them was the Atlanta R&B Experience, starring the Ladies of Escape, along with Bobby Brown, Shy, and Drew Hill. But I say there was enough shade to cool off the state of Texas, Mississippi, and Alabama when Escape got the Lady of Soul award last week at the Soul Train Awards. Now, they're having some issues. Especially Latasha and Candy, who have actually kind of been like oil and water from way back in the day when Latasha went on New York radio and accused Candy of sleeping with Jermaine Dupri's father, who was the head of their label, but it was actually Jermaine Dupri that she slept with. But here's the gag about that whole thing. Now they're on tour doing this thing, and Latasha said, I'm not going out with y'all. I'm going to be a gospel artist, and I got a deal, and I got to concentrate on my solo album. What she got to concentrate on is her husband, Rocky. Word from the curb is allegedly. And I saw there's this woman whose name is Unique who got on social media and was just clowning and disrespecting Latasha, saying she's pregnant by Latasha's husband, Rocky. Then she put up this statement, and then she later came back and said, I was told to do that. I have the screenshot. Rocky wrote the whole thing, had me say my page was hacked. My page is not hacked. I just say she must be less than smart to say, oh, he deceived me. Girl, do your homework. She's a divorced mother of 3 and maybe soon to be 4. But again, I say the way you get them is the way you lose them. And most men will not leave their wife for a side piece, because Latasha got more of a bag than Unique does. So it'll just be interesting to see, because, the other 3 ladies are going out there, they're touring, they're getting that bag. And if they can still, hold it down without Latasha, I don't think she'll ever be able to come back, because she's left and come back a few times. And the revolving door at the Escape Motor Inn will be closed. Candy, I hear, is leaving Real Housewives of Atlanta. She can make money doing other things without having all those people up on her business. Her show, Candy and the Gang, was canceled. And I was shocked. I was kind of shocked that they even did that, because it's about her restaurants. Okay, everyone has had a shootout. One was amongst the employees in the restaurant that started shooting each other. And then you had all those times that the restaurants failed the Board of Health inspection and got shut down. So who wants to watch that? There's not really much there. So Oh, and lastly, I got to say 500 to Meg Thee Stallion. You know, I told you about how she was going through what she was going through, getting support from a lot of people. And, you know, she's on tour. She's made over 20 million just this year alone. The year's not over. She's got the makeup endorsement. And she, I believe, is making history as the first female hip hop artist on the Forbes 40 under 40 list.
Good
And
stuff
right. It's so funny because this past week, the Tory Lanez trial started. It's like nobody cares about him, and I just say 500 to Meg because she is winning. She's winning.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
Appreciate you, Tanya B. And you know, the TJ thing is, dude. I just don't know how many options he has left on the TJ thing, and I just wish the ladies of Escape, because honestly, they can't. I mean, they didn't write most of the hits.
No,
so
they
really,
have to
truly,
work.
they got to work. So hopefully they'll figure out, you know, that hey, you know, we got to work. We got to make this happen.
But let me say this.
You know,
no, wait. At the end of the day, Candy, again, don't forget, she wrote those songs like No Scrubs and Bills and Bugaboo for Destiny's Child. Those songs still get paid, especially the TLC songs that she and Tiny wrote. So they've got some residual income. They have other businesses. Now, that other Tamika Scott, Latasha's sister, she needs the bag. Okay.
Yeah. Tiny fine. She married to T.I.
Yeah.
I'll say, but Tiny, I mean, hey, T.I., look, that was a come up for him because again, you know, she's got, you know, other things going. She's got other businesses, and you know, she's been smart in investing her money. And one thing I'll say about her, she found one business that women will always support, and that is a nail salon.
Well, I hope my Tri-Cities girls can work it out. Come on.
No, and I hope they can. Yeah. You know, look, if Mick Jagger, if the Rolling Stones can get out there and do it, and Aerosmith and Bon Jovi, and even for a while, Tony, you don't have to be friends. Just go on stage, give the people what they want. As the OJ said, get your bag, and y'all can go your separate ways when you leave that stage. But we don't need to know about that.
Yep, absolutely. Appreciate you, Tanya B. All right, let's go ahead and do it, y'all. Here we go.
What you watching this week, Tommy B?
All right, y'all. Got to give it up to Hulu for their holiday hub. And as always, you know, my top holiday pick is Almost Christmas. Danny Glover, Monique, Gabrielle Union, JB Smoove, Kimberly Elise. Directed by David Talbert, Will Packer Productions. It's back in the hub already. So, you know, if you're looking for something to watch, and I always kick off the season. It ain't for kids. Trust me, it's rated R.
But it's funny.
You know, my holiday, you know, watching is definitely worth watching. It's funny. So check it out this week. Also, Jingle Jangle is next on the list, directed by David E. Talbert and Will Packer. Also, if you're looking for something superhero related, Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special with guest star Kevin Bacon is on Disney. Getting great reviews. I'm also a Guardians fan, so the new trailer for the new movie, Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which opens next year, is also out. And also, y'all, because I'm still watching it, a lot of the shows, a lot of the seasons, the big shows have basically shut down. You know, like Queen Sugar is done for the, you know, their series finale. The Walking Dead series finale is gone. The season finale for Let the Right One In on Showtime is this upcoming week, and it is solid. So definitely, I've checked out episode 9, episode 10 airs this upcoming week. So y'all definitely check that out. But that's what's up. That's what I'm watching this week, and just some good stuff, really and truly. And I do like the hubs on like if you have Peacock, if you have any other streaming services, and you're looking for a lot of holiday shows and the traditional holiday fare. It's, you know, everybody has what it seems like a holiday hub. Vi, what you waiting for? What's up?
On Paramount, that's the one about called Fantasy Football.
I want
to watch that. Yeah, with Marsai Martin. Yeah,
we mentioned that. That's the one that with what's her name, Kelly Rowland.
And Marsai Martin and
the guy from Power.
The guy from Decatur. I forgot his name.
Yeah,
him.
The football player from
Ghost. Yeah.
Ghost. He plays a running back for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yep. So that's also definitely worth a watch.
Very entertaining.
Definitely worth a watch. Yep. All right, y'all. Got to do it this week one more time. And now it's time for
a G or not a G.
And now for your G's. Will Smith for getting back out there and promoting Emancipation, the movie. Georgia voters going to the polls in record numbers, we salute you. The Walmart shooting survivor for suing the company for $50 million because you warned them about the shooter 2 months ago. President Barack Obama for campaigning in Georgia to save us from Hershey the vampire hunter. And Kiki Palmer, she revealed her baby bump on SNL. Great news. Even better news, Nick Cannon is not the father, and now not a G. Gwinnett County Schools in Atlanta. Atlanta's largest school system cannot protect their teachers in the classroom. Also, gangs in Georgia for escalating violence in Atlanta, shooting a 12-year-old near Atlantic Station, and recruiting fourth graders with bouncy houses and ice cream trucks. Also not the G, Brent Favre for asking to be removed from a lawsuit attempting to recoup the money he stole. And Herschel Walker, so many reasons, but today for getting a primary residence tax break on his Texas home. And finally, Kanye for idolizing Hitler. Enough said, y'all. And that's it for this week.
A G or not a G?
Y'all go to castropolis.net if you have any comments, any feedback. Definitely, you can leave a voicemail or you can just hit us up. You can hit us up on social media. Like our good friend KW.
Yeah, you know who is not a G?
What up, KW? Go ahead.
Not a G is that man in Savannah that shot that 15-year-old campaign worker for Raphael Warnock. Not a G.
Oh man, we can go down the. This has just been a naughty ass list. This with just so many
not
people.
A G.
So many.
And who else is not a G? Kemp.
He never was.
He never was.
Yeah. Well, he's really not
I know, right?
Herschel Walker.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, Mr. $350. Okay.
All right, y'all. Hey, I'm gonna start with you, Tanya B. Anything last minute? Any last minute thoughts?
I just want to encourage people. I know the lines were long. I know people that were in line for 2, 3, 4+ hours, outside in some challenging weather. There is some rain predicted, but we are going to rebuke that right now in the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. And anybody who hasn't voted, please, 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 in the name of James Brown, we got to do this, y'all. It's like us voting now in this state of Georgia has become so critical. It's like we are like dangling on life support. So all I can say is just please, please, please. And your employer is required to give you time off to go vote. So if they try to threaten you and say you can't go, you're going to get fired. Say, okay, now I don't have to get fired because when I get done suing you, I'm not going to have to work. So please.
It's the law. They got to give you time.
Yes,
got to give you
right.
time.
Yep. Even if you're part-time, don't believe that hype either. You're required to have time off to go work. So I think that's that's cool. Yeah, to go vote. Yeah. Now don't get out there tootsie rolling and be up on social media when you're supposed to be back at work. Just go vote and
do your thing.
And all right, do your thing. That's
Vi, you got any last minute?
It's a great thing that Georgia's voting. We really need to do it. Now we are a laughing stock. Herschel's even in contention. And also people
go ahead, Vi. Go. I'm gonna let you finish.
We are.
Be safe. I mean, I know the COVID out there like it used to be, but there is so much going on in this world. I can't abandon. No store is safe to be in right now. So just wherever you go, watch the surrounding.
Still wear your mask.
So we are still wearing your mask, but nowhere yet. Just be careful. Just be careful.
Physically, and I'll say this. It is because we watch. I watch a lot of news. And really been watching a lot of the local news. And I know a lot of cities can relate to this. Traditionally, when you look at the holidays, crime does tick up because people are out shopping and, people are festive. They maybe a little bit inebriated. They're not paying attention, but definitely pay attention. But it's really sad the amount of situations that are coming up with these kids. I talk about the fact, in Atlanta where, you've got the gangs recruiting a lot of these kids, basically that's true, bouncy houses and ice cream trucks as early as fourth grade, so they're out here recruiting a lot of these kids. So, and it hasn't changed as part of a lot of the recruitment these guys have to go through that process where they haze them and they have to go out and do something stupid. So that's why you see a lot of these incidents happen with these young kids, because they say, hey, we need you to go out and just take out a stranger.
You
It's
got to
just
prove it.
You got to prove it. And it's just crazy. The last situation, if you ever come to Atlanta, there's an area called Atlantic Station. And, Atlantic Station was when they first built Atlantic Station, it was one of my favorite places to hang out. You got a movie theater. It's a live, work, and play environment. You got your condos, you got your, restaurant, you got your
$1 million
hotels,
condos,
$1
million
million
condos.
condos.
Yeah.
And these a lot of these kids, a lot of these gang members, man, just hanging out, doing random stuff, a lot of home invasions. It's just, it's a tough job, man, for a lot of, for the Fonnie Willises of the world, for a lot of our police chiefs. And, we got to really try to do everything we can to support them by just going out and paying attention. You really do. You can't take anything for granted. Tanya B.
But yeah, let me ask you this. Now, I'm not a parent. I have nieces and godchildren, and y'all are both parents. And it's like, I know things are different, then from when your kids were first born. But, I'm wondering, where do the parents fit into this equation, and how much accountability do they really have to take in this whole thing? It's like, do you ever have that conversation with your children, especially, our young Black boys who are really an endangered species right now?
Well, I just think it's a different situation with a lot of these kids because their parents are they're young. A lot of their parents, it hadn't, you got grandmamas who are in their 30s or 20s.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
so
true, yeah.
so my point is, you've got a lot of situations where the parents are, babies raising babies.
Yeah, they don't have the skills to parent. And so, you can't parent somebody if you weren't parented. And, no tea, no shade when you get into a situation when you got 2 or 3 generations of, teenage and unwed mothers from homes that are fractured and fragmented.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
this is now the result of, of all of that. And you've got these 2nd, 3rd generation crack babies, and these kids have these mental, health challenges, and they're not addressed. Like,
And I don't blame it.
kid.
It used to be a situation where I think a lot of people would blame it on, drugs, drug addiction, crack.
No, not
But
anymore.
it's beyond that, Tanya
Yeah.
B. There are elements of it without a doubt, but a lot of it is a lot of these kids are basically unsupervised.
Right, raising themselves. And
when,
again,
when I got a
unsupervised.
12-year-old who's
Okay.
out after 11 o'clock hanging out, that ain't gonna happen.
Right, after
At
curfew.
the crib. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
a lot, when you talk about the city of Atlanta, they're putting up a curfew that basically says you can't go out after 7 o'clock. Basically, unless you are working a job or something. It has to be more job related, where kids are working in fast food. But the bottom line is, it's just a supervision issue where a lot of these kids just aren't supervised. They,
Right.
they
Okay.
can come and go as they please.
That's
Go
true.
ahead.
Yeah. But okay, so you have like this little kid Zion who's 12 years old. Okay, mother either has her head in the cloud, she's working, or she's out there tootsie rolling too, and he's out there unsupervised. Okay, so it's after curfew. So I think one thing that I have a concern about this whole curfew thing is it
Mhm.
just introduces them to the penal system at a very, very young age. Because if you're out and you break curfew, what do? They take you home and your mother's not there. All you got to do is wait till they leave and go right back out again. So it's almost one thing I found with Georgia, a lot of things that they do, even with this so-called cash assistance program, you might have a great idea, but the execution is always so subpar. It ends up, things end up worse than they were before the whole thing started, I guess.
Well,
I don't know what
I
else to
think
say.
I agree. I agree. But I think it's like that in a lot of cases where there's government assistance, where the execution is poor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
It's
Vi, you
it's
had
like
any comments on that?
reactive.
Yeah,
It's
and I just want
reactive, not
parents,
proactive.
parents, raise your kids. Don't put all that pressure on the teachers. The teachers are there.
Everybody else.
They're there to educate your kids. They got enough issues of trying to raise your kid. You need to raise your own.
Dude, let me tell you, Vi, in Gwinnett County, when I was watching, I watched on the news, this student was beating the teacher up in class.
Yes. Mhm.
When I saw that, and and really I would have, and the teacher had already had a conversation with the kid's parents because the grades were poor. So I guess the kid came in the next day and said, "Oh, you talking to my mom and daddy?" So boom, 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 start beating them down. My whole point is, kids should have been thrown out of the district just completely. I mean, as a matter of fact, before he, you gotta I would have not only gone after the kid, but the parents too.
Yeah.
So you got to say,
now,
look, you in trouble along with your kids. So whatever punishment we give the kid, the parent needs to go through it
all
as
right,
well.
because
Go ahead.
then you got kids that are kicked out of school. Then we got mentally challenged, undiagnosed, functional illiterates who have no possibilities, because once they get kicked out, a lot of times they don't go back. It's just like, again, the process really, really needs work. And I think that's where Georgia has fallen short.
Unfortunately, it's like this endless cycle, but I do applaud a lot of organizations that are going out, and these nonprofits who are reaching out to these young people. I've seen so many of these nonprofit organizations that are basically bringing a lot of these at-risk young men together, having conversations with them, and really trying to teach them right and wrong where they may not be getting it at home. So, it's not hopeless. There just needs to be more of it. And, before we close, I do have to say a big thanks again to Howie T, Hitman Howie. I'm gonna say Hitman Howie.
Hitman Howie T. Yeah, looking good.
Hitman Howie and Coach R Vi. Thank you, and we did it, man. The show, check it out. It definitely is gonna make our top 10 for the year. I think it's that number debuted at number 7. So congrats to you guys. I mean, the sports show is hilarious. It's funny by jumping in, beating everybody up.
Y'all are funny.
It was funny.
Y'all are funny.
So, all right, y'all. Don't forget, go to castropolis.net. All the information is there. Again, you can watch us live every week. We're on YouTube. Also, you can go to the link on Riverside FM. Thank you. Whoever's on Riverside FM, shout out to you, because definitely they're on Riverside FM every week. And you can also stream the audio still every week at castropolis.net. Definitely the podcast is always up every Sunday night by 10 o'clock, no later than 11 o'clock, but definitely the podcast is ready for you, so you can check it out Monday morning. So with that said, Vi, you ready to do the benediction, man?
Most definitely.
We need it. Ooh.
Yeah, we need some. It's a benediction kind of week. So
yes, God.
So go on and say that prayer for Warnock. Here we go.
Jesus doesn't mean we should ignore wrongdoing, but we should not be so worried about others. Sins that we overlook our own. We often rationalize our sins by pointing out the same mistake in others. What kind of specks in other eyes are the easy for you to criticize? Remember your own laws. When you feel like criticizing, and you may find that you have less to say. Luke chapter 6, verse 41 through 42. And why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? All it's saying, people, be careful what you criticize before looking at your own self. So, hey, you're not perfect either. So don't be hard on people when you're making the same mistake. So all I want to say, take care of your own business before you take care of somebody else. Amen.
Hallelujah.
Let
Amen.
me pull this log up out of my eye. Here we go.
Hallelujah.
Hey, I appreciate you.
But I will say that do not go first. Talk about
it's true. Hey, it's true.
Appreciate you, Vi. Thank you so much, y'all. Again, don't forget castropolis.net, our social media. You can check us out at This Is The G Podcast on just about everything. The only thing it's not at This Is The G Podcast is Twitter. And, Twitter's a hot mess.
What was that she said? Utter? Nothing?
Hit Twitter at your own risk. But we appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. And y'all be safe this holiday, for real. Be safe. Be safe. Vi is absolutely right. Keep your head, like we said on the other episode, keep your head on a swivel. And with that, episode 156 is in the can, and we are out of here. Peace and power to the people. Y'all have a great week.
Orange soda. Here come the bus.
Power to the people.
Bus yourself to the polls on Tuesday, people.
Yes, go vote.